Hey guys, so I am back again with morning therapy. It's a little early this time because I've been up for a little while. Today we are going to be talking about coping skills as it comes to anger and talking about different ways that you can love yourself, start to love yourself, and start bringing in more self love into your life. So, for anger, what we have to do is notice our triggers because it can be people, places, and things that just automatically trigger us and trigger trauma and bring us back to that state of anxiety, PTSD, or whatever you may have. So one thing that we can do to use triggers to your advantage is create a list of your triggers. So I'm going to just read off the sheet. So, number one is create a list of your triggers and review them daily. Reviewing your triggers will keep them fresh in your mind, increasing the likelihood you notice them before they become a problem. Number two, oftentimes the best way to deal with the trigger is to avoid it. This might mean making changes into your life, relationships, or daily routine. And number three, because it isn't always possible to avoid triggers, especially when they're people, have a plan when you must face them. For example, avoid touchy conversations when you are tired, hungry, or upset. So we're going to start with the first one, which is making a list of your triggers. Because once you observe what it is that triggers you, and once you observe what it is that gets you out of your natural state, which is happiness, once you recognize the people and places and things that actually upset you and anger you, you'll be able to better navigate through life. So a couple of things that trigger me are, like the bar scenes, the strip club scenes, strippers themselves, and also men in a way are kind of a trigger for me right now. Just because I never really felt like protected by men. I never really felt like men were on my side other than to fuck me. So I do my best to like limit my conversation with men and limit my interactions with men as much as possible, because I honestly it's very triggering when you have try to hold a conversation with someone like with the man and then they automatically just ask for your number. It's just not. I'm just not the one. So I try to avoid men as much as possible right now. And I also avoid the strip club by not going to the strip club. And I avoid strippers by not going to the strip club. So those kind of help me try to heal what I'm going through right now and heal and you start the process. So when you write it down, when you get like a clear picture of what it is that upsets you, you can better navigate your life and better move around and better understand what it is that you need to avoid in order to take care of yourself and your mental health. And oftentimes, we are so impacted by our pain and so impacted by the traumas and things that we've been through. Because like I said, I created a whole personality, a whole hypersexualized personality based on the traumas from my past. So once we better understand ourselves and better understand that image that we have of ourselves, we can better understand what triggers us. And once we understand what triggers us and understand what it is that we can avoid in order to get that happiness back, it eases life up. So one of the things that I want you guys to do just to get an idea of what it is that triggers you, is just write it down as it comes. Like, just put little notes in your phone, or just get a piece of paper and write it down, just so you can apply that to every aspect of your life, so you live as happy as possible. So for number two, is avoiding your triggers. I avoid them by not going back into that environment, and I've also cut everyone off who was in that environment, who I met in that environment, and who just brings back old memories of that place. So I honestly, I feel like avoiding people who are in that environment is probably one of the best things for me. Unfortunately, you can't walk around and just not see people, but you can just choose not to engage. So that's one of the things that I've been learning to do. And also changing your lifestyle, making lifestyle changes, and creating a new daily routine that does not encourage triggers. And one thing that we tend to do as a coping mechanism is do drugs. And so I stopped smoking weed altogether. I think I had my last blunt last week. I was done. So because it really wasn't doing anything for me. It was just getting me high and then making me want to get high again. So it's really not doing nothing. It's just wasting my money. And one of the things for relationship changes that you can do is if you are in a relationship with somebody who is triggering you, you can just let them know that, talking about these certain things, or when you say this certain thing, it upsets me. And if they keep doing it, cut them the fuck off. That simple. And one thing that I want you guys to understand about lifestyles is that once you change your lifestyle to completely remove triggers and completely engulf yourself around happiness and not your sadness and your pain, your whole life just changes. It does. And because we can't avoid people all the time that trigger us, because like I said, my apartment that I was in, it literally, my ex is right down the street, a street over, and he well, if you could call him an ex, we were never really together, it was a situationship. And he actually is part of the problem of the things that are going around town, because him and my old roommate that I was talking about united together and just kept going back and forth with the drama and the bullying, and getting other people to engage in it as well, even when I was living with him on top of it. So my apartment is very triggering just because of that. And also, he's on one side, and on the other side is a place where I was sexually assaulted and abused. And that was actually the train station. The train station is right there. And it's very triggering having to go outside and sort of relive the trauma again. Every time I pass by it, it's still in the back of my mind, the things that happened to me and the guy that was involved, and the stuff that happened to me when I was 16 here. So it's hard to avoid places, but one thing you can do is just understand that energy that holds in the back of your head, that energy no longer is your reality. And when I pass by that train station, I just keep telling myself that I'm no longer in distress anymore. I'm in a beautiful position. I'm in a beautiful spot in life right now. And, when you start to feel yourself go back to the pain, you have to really pull yourself out and notice that you are safe and you are doing better and you are actively changing your life for the better. So I know it's very hard to avoid places that are triggering because places are just stagnant. They are where they are. So one thing you can do is rework your brain around the ideas surrounding around the place. So when I drive down the street to my ex, well, not drive no more, but when I go down the street towards my ex, I just remember that I'm no longer in his house. I'm no longer a part of his fuckery, his bullshit. I'm no longer engaged in any of the drama between my ex and my old roommate. I'm no longer in that situation. So I no longer, I energetically have nothing to give to that. So when I pass by there, that's what I say to myself. Like I'm safe. I don't have to engage. I don't have to even check in. I don't have to do any of that anymore. I'm free. And one thing that I do when I walk past a train station is just remind myself that what happened to me there was outside of my control at the time, but now I'm in a powerful position because I don't have to deal with that man anymore. He doesn't use me anymore, and I'm in a safe place, and I'm safe now. And it gets easier as the days go by. It definitely gets easier. But it's still, like I said, it's still something that I'm healing from because, again, my place is literally in between two trauma points, okay? If I go left, I see one. If I go right, I see one, okay? So the triggers, it's not possible to avoid them. The only way to avoid them is just to stay inside all day, you know, and that's not part of my reality. It's just not. So one thing that you can do to help with it is deep breathing. And like I said, just reminding yourself that you're no longer in that space energetically. Once you feel your mind going back to the pain and going back to the thoughts about the people that hurt you, you have to really pay attention to your breathing. Just keep focusing on your breathing and focus on a pleasant memory as you pass the trauma points in your cities, in your towns. Just try to replace that every time you walk by with pleasant memories. Just if you have to make one up, okay? It's really up to you to help heal yourself, because at the end of the day, the people that hurt you and the people that that caused you pain, they're not sorry. They did it to you on purpose, and they did it to you to hurt you. And it's really not their job to heal you. Unfortunately, I know how much it hurts. I know. But it's not their job to heal you. It's your job. And if it's something that you want, it's something that you have to revisit, and you have to learn to heal from it. So that's something that you guys can do. Because I know when I pass by the train station, I just get very overwhelmed with emotions. So I like to sing whenever I have to walk by that train station, because singing helps me, helps keep me in a high vibration. And I sing out loud. Like, I don't care how crazy I look. I don't care. I sing out loud whatever is playing in my headphones, or whatever song I can think of, just to keep me energetically sound, and don't put myself back in those negative places that I was in. So that's one thing that you can do. You can also practice deep breathing. And another thing you can do is keep an anger log, or like or just write. What I would recommend doing is categorizing your emotions, like if you have a diary or a journal, categorize them by color. So like anger to me is like red. So just write in red for as much as you need to, and just write it all out, write all the pain that you felt. And you can crumble it up, you could burn it, you can leave it in your journal, do whatever you have to do. But as soon as you get it out, you start to feel lighter, and you really start to feel like just better about yourself. So keeping an anger log is something that you can do, and keeping a note on what exactly it is that triggers you, it will definitely help you. And well, that's all for anger. So now I'm going to go into 12 ways that you can love yourself right now. And when we replace anger with self-love, it really helps. It really does help, especially if you are triggered by places in your town, because places, like I said, they just are where they are until they get burned down. You know what I'm saying? Then it's a whole different story. But they are where they are. And one thing that you can do is replace that anger that you feel for yourself, and that criticism that you feel for yourself, and that that doubt. Replace that with self-love, and replace that with encouragement, and encouraging yourself to continue to grow past it and continue to grow. So 12 ways that you can love yourself right now. Number 1, stop all criticism. Criticism never changes a thing. Refuse to criticize yourself. Accept yourself exactly as you are. Everybody changes. When you criticize yourself, your changes are negative. When you approve yourself, your changes are positive. So I've always been very critical of myself, because I allowed people to infest my mind with their versions of me that they wanted to see. And once I stopped blaming myself for everything that happened to me when I was 16, and once I stopped blaming myself for all the little things that I've been through, and the people who perpetuated these things against me, once I stopped doing all of that, you start to view yourself as more human, okay? Because a lot of times, because again, my Chiron is in Virgo, and I'm very, very critical of myself. I always overanalyze, I just overdo things, you know what I'm saying? And I never gave myself a chance to just fucking relax. And I never gave myself a chance to appreciate who I've become now, based on what I've been through in the past. I never gave myself that chance. So I'm giving myself that chance now. Number 2 is forgive yourself. Let the past go. You did the best you could at the time with the understanding and the knowledge that you had. Now you are growing and changing, and you will live life differently. So forgiving yourself is honestly the hardest thing that you can do, because it takes understanding all parts of the situation, and forgiving yourself for involving yourself with people, forgiving yourself for trusting certain people, and forgiving yourself for not understanding that at that perspective, at that time, you were not loving yourself to the fullest potential that you could. And once you forgive yourself for that, again, your heart gets lighter, and you start to grow. Number 3 is don't scare yourself. Stop terrorizing yourself with your thoughts. It's a dreadful way to be. Find a mental image that gives you pleasure, and immediately switch your scary thought into a pleasure thought. And again, you can use this like I said, when you're traveling around town, and you run into people, or you run into places that are very triggering. That's one thing that you can do to just get yourself back centered and get yourself mentally back in a high vibrational state. And number 4 is be gentle, kind, and patient. Be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself as you learn the new ways of thinking. Treat yourself as you would someone you already loved. I have a problem being kind to myself because I kept surrounding myself around people who were unkind to me, which is definitely a reflection of how I felt about myself. So when I kept engaging in people who, did not love me, only wanted to use me, that's a reflection of self-love and how you truly feel about yourself. So one thing that you can do to be kind to yourself is just keep reminding yourself of your growth and who you are now, and stop criticizing yourself. Because had I had known what I known before, my life would be completely different. But it's okay that I'm here right now because I'm actively reviewing the signs and reviewing the people. Number 5 is be kind to your mind. Self-hatred is only hating your own thoughts. Don't hate yourself for having the thoughts. Gently change your thoughts. And again, this can go with people, places, and things. Because I know it's hard when we have family members who are triggering, because some of you live with them, and some of you are in situations where you need to get off of your feet, just like I was when I was living with my mom. I was trying to work a job, and unfortunately my mom worked, and I wasn't going to leave my daughter with her husband, and both of his daughters said that they wouldn't watch my daughter, but they would watch the other girl's daughter that was there. So I was in a position where the only way I could make money was going to the strip club, and I only had 4 days out the month to do it. So one thing that I had to do was really be kind to myself, because if anyone else was in a position where they had nobody to watch their child, they had nobody that was in the house that wanted to watch their child, and the only time that you could work was every other weekend that your child is with her father, then I can't blame myself for seeing the strip club as an option to try to grow up and try to have that adult relationship with myself and finally be grown, because I saw it as literally my only option, other than working overnight, which was not really still an option because my mom worked overnight. So it's one of those things where I was literally in a catch-22 situation. I didn't have the money for daycare, and I also, because it wasn't my house, they didn't want strangers coming in to watch after her. So it was you see my situation? So my mom's working. She works the same times I work. She also, was in school doing her thing. My mom's husband's daughters, who were living in the house with me, said that they were not going to watch my child, and they were going to watch the other girl's child and not mine. And it was just situations that pushed me to go back into that life. So I really can't blame myself for seeing that as an option to expand myself financially, so I can be in a position to not be dependent, to be in my own apartment, have my own car, and be grown. So I have to work on being kind with myself because I was not presented with options, you know. Number 6 is to praise yourself. Criticism breaks down the inner spirit, praise builds it up. Praise yourself as much as you can. Tell yourself how you are doing with every little thing. And the self-praise and the self-love, that is really the way to rebuild your confidence, because a lot of times we seek it in other people because we aren't giving it to ourselves. And once we start giving it to ourselves, we realize we don't need it from other people, if you see what I'm saying. So number 7 is support yourself. Find ways to support yourself. Reach out to friends and allow them to help you. It's being strong to ask for help when you need it. And one thing that I always avoided was asking for help, because when I asked for help, people always presented it as an opportunity to hold something over my head. So I learned to stop asking for help. I learned to stop asking for support, because it always came with that person's rules and stipulations. And what I always do, like I'll even give this story as an example. Everything that me and my ex been through, it has been very public because he made it very public. So even through all of that and through all of the things that we've been through, when he did not have a car and he did not have a way to get to work, I drove him to work in my car. And I didn't ask for gas money. I didn't ask for nothing. I just did it because I know what it's like to be in a position where you need help and you don't necessarily want to ask someone for help. And I'm not going to be someone to hold anything over anyone's head. So I remember, driving him to work. And I also helped him out with the rental situation, like with putting it on my card and helping him. He would give me the money, but I would put it on my card just to help him along, because at the end of the day, that's still my daughter's father. So, I personally felt that when you support someone, it should come genuinely from the heart, and it shouldn't come with rules and stipulations. But as I noticed, when I asked him for support, it always came with a set of rules. It always came with something. So that helped me realize, get a full picture of who I was and who he was. And that's really helped me push myself into stop supporting him and stop helping him, because his help always came with stipulations. And I would rather give support to someone who supports like I do, if you understand what I'm saying, because it's less draining and it's less frustrating when you do. Number 8 is be loving to yourself, be loving to your negatives. Acknowledge that you created them to fulfill a need. Now you're finding new positive ways to fulfill those needs. So lovingly release the old negative patterns. And again, my negative pattern was that I was literally stuck in between my mom's house and my ex's house. So again, in my mom's house, nobody wanted to watch my child, because I was willing to get a job at Walmart and just work and save and do whatever. I would do whatever I can until I have enough for an apartment. But being put in that situation where I was surrounded by people who did not want to help, it pushed me into that. That mindset, like, I might as well go back to the strip club because, he has her only on the weekends, and he has her literally like 5 days out the month, So that time is the only time I had to really generate money for myself. And I really cannot blame myself for for seeing that as an option to set myself free, if you understand. I couldn't do witchcraft. I couldn't do my candles. I couldn't do nothing. I literally just had to sit and just be normal. You know what I'm saying? It's like everyone's help, everyone's supports that they were giving me was in a way to push me away from who I was personally. And I have to just release and just forget, honestly, and just be more forgiving to myself, because again, that was going back into dancing was one of the only options to generate income for me. And yeah, I just have to I have to forgive myself for using that as an option in order to financially expand and get an apartment and be grown. So number 9 is take care of your body. Learn about nutrition. What kind of fuel does your body need in order to have optimum energy and vitality? Learn about exercise. What kind of exercise do you enjoy? And cherish and revere the temple that you live in. So I personally was not taking care of my body well, wasn't taking care of my temple. And one thing that you can do is really sit with, create like a diet plan, but not necessarily cutting out, your favorite things. What I did that really helped start my healing journey is went raw vegan for a week. Once you go raw vegan for a week, it really wakes your body up, because you're eating foods directly from the sun, and you're eating foods that are sun-kissed. And once you remove like the cooking and all the stuff from that, and you just eat fruits and vegetables and like nuts and things like that, you feel your body automatically start to cleanse, and it really it really brings you life. It really does. Number 10 is do mirror work. Look into your eyes often. Express this growing sense of love you have for yourself. Forgive yourself while looking into the mirror. Talk to your parents and or support person while looking into the mirror. Forgive them too. At least once a day, say, I love you. I really love you. This does also help. Even if you guys say it in tears, baby, say it in the mirror. Number 11, love yourself. Do it now. Don't wait until you get well or lose weight or get the new job or find a new relationship. Begin right now and do the best you can. Because a lot of people have this shell of them perpetuating that they love themselves, but a lot of people are hiding behind their pain. And a lot of people hide behind their pain by buying things involving themselves around people who remind them in a way of their triggers. I've noticed that a lot. So one thing you can do to love yourself is to, again, do the mirror work. You can also sit back and just engage in loving conversations with yourself. Just go down the line and just remember all the beautiful things that you did to yourself, even if you did things to help others, and recognize your character, recognize your soul and your spirit, and recognize that that love ultimately is the best feeling for you. And once you recognize that love is the best feeling, you can start to find ways to keep giving it to yourself and giving it to yourself. Because once you fill yourself up with love, you don't need it from anyone else. Number 12, the last one, is to have fun. Remember the things that you gave. Sorry. One day I'm going to read these through without messing up. Remember the things that gave you joy as a child. Incorporate them into your life now. Find a way to fun in everything that you do. Let yourself express the joy of living. Smile, laugh, rejoice, and the universe rejoices with you. And once you really have fun with life and really just do things that you enjoy, like go bike riding, learn how to rollerblade, or just do like little things, play tennis, maybe like golf. Golf is boring to me, but I don't know. Just do things that genuinely make you happy, and do things that make you happy without doing them for a profit, if you understand what I'm saying. So if you love doing art, just draw and just, hang it up in your house or post it online. Just have fun with yourself. Be your friend, be your love, be your support system ultimately. Because if you don't have someone there to support it, the self-love, it makes it harder, and it makes you want to seek love in other people, and that can start a very negative spin in your life. So remember to love yourself and pay attention to what triggers you in people, places, and things, and try to rework yourself and rework who you are and become who you truly are and who you truly want to be. So I hope you guys enjoyed this morning therapy, and I'm gonna see y'all later.